Last of Us is one of those games that's always great when you go to play it, but that is to be expected when it comes from the minds of Jak and Daxter and Uncharted. But I'll show you how great this game is and how I got the Platinum Trophy for it as well. This game will contain spoilers. So let's kick off this game and this trophy hunt with the main character's daughter, who I'm sure is going to live a long and good life. And now we actually get to go on to one of the main protagonists in this game, Joel. And of course his bestie, Tess. And let's start with Fallen Firefly, the first trophy I managed to get. And how I did acquire this trophy is by finding my first Firefly dog tag. And the Fireflies are just a group of militia people trying to fight back. Joel and Tess are on the hunt for a man named Robert. And when Joel goes to open the door to find out if Robert is there or not, he tries to shoot them. What would Robert have done if that was just one of his men and he dome shot at them? And after dealing with Robert, we get to meet one of the other protagonists of this game called Ellie. Joel and Ellie then decide to split from Tess. And the reason Tess decided to leave Joel and Ellie is because she had other plans, like to go and find God and worship him the best she could. Because I don't know what's going on here. I'm guessing it's praying to God. While on the way to Joel's friend named Bill, we stop and see an arcade machine. And does anyone else think this game would be class to play? While in Bill's town, I got a new weapon. Do you care to guess what it was? After meeting Bill, he brings us back to his base and I get my next trophy, Self-Help. And I got this trophy by picking up a training manual. Training manuals are some of the best things you can get in this game because they upgrade your melee weapons and they also can upgrade health kits. Did anyone else realize that this is just no normal house? It's a nod to another game. Because I didn't realize this when I first played it. I only found out a little bit later. And then Bill, Ellie and Joel travel to a school to get supplies. And this is why I hate school. There's always a bully and there's no teachers around to help. Did anybody else find the smoke bombs in this game absolutely useless? But let's move on to the next trophy I acquired called Savage Starlight Fan. And this is another trophy I acquired by picking something up, and it was a comic book. And now, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for none other than Ellie and her bad jokes. Acquiring the trophy Geared Up was probably one of the easier trophies I got, and how I got it is by crafting one of every single item here. Traveling a bit further on in the game, we come across a poster and I can't help but think this looks like Joel, just as a bit hairier. And then we got to meet two new characters called Sam and Henry. We also get to see some very familiar faces in the place where Sam and Henry were hiding out. This is better than any soccer match I've seen in a long time. Soon after, I got the next trophy called Sticky Fingers. And I got this trophy for finding and opening all safes throughout the whole game. Why is it this ice cream van has been out of commission for years, but yet it still looks as creepy as ever? In case anything creepy comes out of that van, I decided to get my next trophy called Combat Ready. And I gained this trophy by fully upgrading at least one of my weapons. Do you think Joel actually knows what he's doing here, or is he just like faffing around? I then took out one of the most annoying groups in this game using their own weapon. Joel and Ellie then decided they were going separate ways from Sam and Henry. Joel and Ellie were heading to Joel's brother's house, Tommy. And while on the way there, I managed to find the best name for one of the shittiest weapons in the game. And this leads into the next trophy, Left Hanging. And this is probably one of the meanest trophies in the game, because what you have to do is not high five Ellie after a job well done. If you're not getting the trophy, don't ignore her high five. And then after all that, we finally get to meet the man himself, Joel's brother, Tommy. We then get introduced to the next trophy, and it was called Who's a Good Boy? And in my personal opinion, this is the best trophy in this game. And you acquire this trophy by giving the bestest boy all the rubs you can. Ellie then decided to go on a little trip all by herself, and Joel got worried, so he decided to come after her. Once Joel retrieves Ellie, the both of them decide to go on a little journey all the way to college, where Joel has to explain what college life was like. Things take a turn then, and Joel is not looking the best. So he stops where he is and he decides this is the time for a nap. This scene will never ever be serious to me ever again after seeing the meme, and if you know, you know. We then got the displeasure of meeting one of the most horrible pieces of shit in this game. Joel is back in action and he's looking for Ellie, and this guy just legs it, and I find it so funny. Mind you, after seeing something like this, I would definitely leg it as well. And while Joel is out doing all that, Ellie finds herself in the world's most dangerous game of hide and seek with that other piece of shit, David. Joel finds Ellie just after she won that game of hide and seek, and they move on to go find the rest of the Fireflies. While in this area, I did get my next trophy called Sharpest Tool in the Shed, and you get this for opening all the toolboxes that you find throughout the game. That helps you upgrade all your weapons. Sometimes I think Joel and Ellie just have the worst luck possible when it comes to this shit. Mind you, soon after this, Joel takes on like half an army and beats them all, so I don't know what his luck is like. After meeting the Fireflies, Joel and Ellie decide it's not for them and decide to make their way back to Tommy's. And with that piece out of the way, I got the last trophy, no matter what, and this is for completing the whole game. And with the main game complete, we go on to the DLC Left Behind, and this takes place right in the middle of the main story where Ellie has to help Joel. And while she's doing this, we also get flashbacks of her exploring her city with her friend Riley. So I'm curious, would anybody consider this peer pressure or no? I mean, she has to impress her friend, right? In a Halloween shop filled with werewolf masks, why is it the pigeon is the creepiest one here? But let's get our first trophy of this DLC, and it was called Brickmaster. And to get this trophy is quite fun. You have to be the first one to break all your windows in the car downstairs, and we get to have a bit more fun by going on a merry-go-round. And having fun led to my next trophy called Nobody's Perfect, and you get this trophy for sitting down in a race car simulator game called Jack X and pretending to play. And we're not done with the imaginary games yet, because the next trophy, Angel Knives, is a lot like the last one, where Ellie has to imagine that she is in a Street Fighter-esque game. But to get this trophy, you have to take absolutely no damage from the man you're fighting. And this is, without a doubt, one of the coolest trophies to get. The next trophy that I managed to get my hands on, Skills, also involved another game. And that game, of course, was a water gun fight. The first one to hit the other person wins. We're back in the present time now, and I just gotta ask, how many men are you willing to sacrifice for this little girl? Shortly after that, I got my next trophy, Live Bait. And this is why I asked, are all these lives worth this little girl? Because what you have to do to get this trophy is throw a brick or a bottle to distract a clicker into someone who's still alive. You can see them running around in the background, they're freaking out. And with that trophy taken care of, we go back to the past to see what happened to Riley and Ellie in that shopping centre. And once we uncover what happened between the two of them, we get the next trophy, Don't Go, which you get for completing the DLC Left Behind. So now this is where the fun part begins, where we go on an all-out collection hunt, and of course any trophies I missed before. And that leads into the next trophy I acquired, In Memoriam. And to get this trophy, you find a note when you're with Bill, and once you have said note, you give it to Bill, and then he tosses it on the ground and you go and pick it up. And now on to a more violent trophy I got, called Build 'em Up and Break 'em Down. And how I acquired this is by upgrading every melee weapon and breaking it off an enemy. And we're going to need help for the next two trophies I have, and the help was from Henry and Sam. And the first trophy of the two that I got help with was called Lights Out, and you can gain this trophy by sneaking up undetected and turning off the generator. And once that's done, then you get caught. And the next trophy, Waterlogged, actually involves Henry and Sam, and what you do is you ride across on whatever the Christ that is with Henry and Sam after solving a puzzle. This has nothing to do with a trophy, but my Christ, that is one of the worst shots I've ever seen. Like, Sam and Ellie are far better. And speaking of them two, they actually helped me get my next trophy, That's All I Got. And you can get this trophy by listening to all of Ellie's jokes throughout the whole game, and this includes the DLC. And since I'm talking about Ellie, I decided to go back to where I left her hanging for the high five and give her that high five. And while at that Hydro Dam, it turns out that someone has a crush on Joel. But enough about Joel's love life, let's get on to the next trophy, Prepared for the Worst. And you can gain this trophy by using every workbench throughout the whole game. The next trophy I got, Master of Unlocking, is similar enough to the last trophy, whereas you have to find every locked door in the game and use a shiv to open it. You know, it doesn't matter how many times I played this game, I will always love seeing this scene. And I'm curious, what is your favorite scene in this game if you've ever played it? But back to the trophies, and the next one I got was called Look for the Light. And you can acquire this trophy by picking up all the Firefly dog tags. There is a sneaky Firefly dog tag. You have to kill this fella to get it as well. And speaking of collecting things, this leads to another trophy, Something to Fight For. And you get this for picking up all the training manuals throughout the game, and this is also the cleanest training manual I have found. We are then on to another collectible trophy, and it is Endure and Survive. And this is for collecting all the comic books throughout the whole game. And now on to the last collectible trophy, which was Chronicles. And to get Chronicles, you have to pick up every artifact and note throughout the game. And they can range from wanted posters, tape recorders, and people's own personal journals. And now for the second last trophy of this game, Getting to Know You. And to claim this trophy, what you have to do is engage in every optional conversation throughout the game. And with that, the Platinum Trophy finally unlocks. And now to rate the game's difficulty. And the rating I'll give for this game is a 3 out of 10. It's a fairly easy game. You can pick the difficulty you want. There's nothing that's going to give you trouble. You can sneak by most fights, and this game is still definitely worth the play. So this is the end of the video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, maybe leave a like, and I hope I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.